To our humble abode here at the PSP Mothership. My name is Dalyss Hanson alongside Bryce, Gutknecht, Owen, Patterson. It is down to the semifinals. We are very excited. We have 3 games to offer you. Make sure you check out our schedule events at psp.network. There you can make the purchase to follow along with all of our coverage. But OP, let's get right into it. 9-man is heating up. We got the number 1 seed who's trying to go back-to-back. New Rockford, Cheyenne-Maddock. They're going to host number 5 seed Hankinson. Thoughts?
Well, obviously, New Rockford Cheyenne has been an unstoppable machine all season long. It should be no surprise that this team is routing their opponents every Friday and Saturday this season. But talk about their opponent. I know I've been pretty big on this team. The Hankinson Pirates, I think it's the best team that New Rockford has played all year long. A dynamic backfield we spoke about in the preview show. Earl and Hernandez back there, they just give you fits. A physical Hankinson team, you know that's kind of bred, kind of in their genes down there in Hankinson to win games here in the playoffs. And I think an upset might be possible for the Pirates, but New Rockford Cheyenne is hard to bet against a team that's running that well at this moment.
How about the number 2 seed, Lemoore Litchfield Marion? They're going to play South Border. Lemoore the 2 seed. South Border wasn't even ranked, OP, and now they find themselves in the semifinals. What a story.
Yeah, a really good story there. And hey, it's a South Border team that's done this before. They have gone all the way to the Dakota Bowl in years past under Coach Melmer, and 3 Region 1 teams in the semifinal round. Obviously, South Border played Lemoore Litchfield Marion earlier in the season. It was a pretty big Lobos win, but South Border's got something working right now. It's good defense, and as long as they can contain the quarterback running back duo that Lemoore Litchfield Marion has, especially Gunnar Thielges in the backfield, I think South Border's going to have some success. The Lobos, though, another thing we mentioned in the preview show, they want to get back at New Rockford in that state championship game, and Lemoore at home in the playoffs. It's almost a dead set victory for LLM.
Before we move forward, OP, you were in Trenton, North Dakota.
I was, yes.
6-man guy. I respect the 6-man game.
He was there.
He was there.
Front row seat.
The Trenton Tigers fell short in the state championship. Tell us a little about that championship game.
And the 19-game winning streak for the Trenton Tigers, state champions a year ago. It fell really short against the Drayton Bombers. They came in with a purpose. Bombers' defense set the early message. It's kind of odd to see in a 6-man game you hold your opponent to negative yards of offense in the first quarter. That's what the Bombers did, and from there it was their offense. Trenton Keena, the athletic running back for the Bombers, he ran wild, accounted for 4 touchdowns in a 55-13 state championship for Drayton on the road. It's the first time somebody's hosted a 6-man championship in a long time against difficult odds. Drayton got it done.
Bryce Gutknecht had that similar stat line when he was in high school, the 4 touchdowns. BG, let's talk about this Class A division. A lot of moving pieces with this. You got number 1, Langdon area Munich. They're going to host number 4, Velva DAG. PSP Plus was there in Velva last week where they put up a 50-burger. But now they travel to the 1 seed. What do you see in this game?
We got a rematch. We got a rematch of last year, but now it's in Langdon. They're going to have home field. I think everyone's looking at the weather. I'm looking at the weather for the weekend. We're going to be there, PSP Plus. What does the weather mean? If it's 25, if there's precip, what does that do for Langdon's plan of attack in that game? I'm really excited to see Jax Johnson. I haven't got to see him all year. He's been terrific. Easton Schaefer at that wideout position. Get him involved early. He's athletic, great hands. On the Velva side, you saw him last week. We talked a little bit. It's been Cooper Kittleson. Yeah. He seems to just be getting better, elevating his game. He's making the throws, involved in the run game so much. And then it's Logan Vincent, kind of that power downhill, just straight at your running attack. I mean, people are no disrespect to Killdeer or Botno, but people are calling this a championship caliber single A game in the semifinals.
I was at the game calling it with Jonas last week. The Cooper Kittleson game, I said before we hopped on, probably one of the greatest athletic things I've seen in a long time. I mean, he can pass, he can run, leads the team, and then you got Vincent who looks like Jerome Bettis back there. I mean, it's amazing. They're a good team.
Yeah, they really are, and something I've seen, and a lot of people might not know, I'm not trying to give any secrets away, but they bring in Okeson on the offensive line, and then they shift Selzer out, who was banged up. Luke Selzer, who was playing some left tackle for them. They move him, so they kind of go to this heavier set. You're seeing these heavier sets being done by Velva, basically an extra offensive lineman in there, and they're having some success for that. So maybe look for that. especially when we're talking a game in the 20s.
Yeah.
You know, the run game's going to be so important.
Well, let's move on to our other one. It's number 2, Killdeer. They're going to play host to Botno. Botno's coming to Killdeer. Botno was the 6th seed coming into the playoffs. Here's a stat that I want to share with you, BG, from Killdeer. They sent him over. Appreciate Coach. Jackson Reese had 5 receptions for 99 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mike Dukart, 3 receptions, 104 yards, 3 touchdowns. So the passing game was going very well for the Killdeer Cowboys. But hold the phone because the Botno Braves play fearless. They just had an upset. They're going to be looking for another upset this week on the road again.
I mean, perhaps the game of the year. The game of the year was EEK and Botno. Botno coming out on top of that. These last few weeks, we've really talked a lot about Emerson Marham. He was on full display last week. 85 rushing yards, 294 passing yards. I mean, the total offense... Total of, sorry, Owen, I'll just skip 3. Yay, 379.
Why not state math?
379 on that. Don't forget about Landon Solberg, what he did for Botno. He had 3 touchdowns in that game, had an interception. I mean, what a moment for Botno to go down there and win that kind of caliber game. Now they got to make the long road trip to Killdeer, a Killdeer team. I'm going to talk defense first, Killdeer. We talk about offense so much. Last couple of weeks, the defense has really stood out. 13 points they surrendered to Ray Powers Lake. They surrendered 13 to Dickinson Trinity.
Who's very good.
Very good in the run game, and they a good offensive team. So the defense, I feel like we don't talk about them defensively that much. They're so prolific offense. So really good defensively the last couple of weeks. Tucker Bomback is, I mean, his speed. I saw him take off a couple of those quarterback design runs. I mean, he may be one of the fastest guys across the state. Yeah. I'm throwing it out there. There's probably a couple guys that we can name, but he looks great. He's lethal in the passing game, using his feet. And then it's the weapons. You talked about him. It's Jackson Reese. It's Michael Dukart. It's Jack Bomback. What they do in the screen game, they can... tremendous weapons. They like to exploit the middle of the field with Dukart. This is going to be awesome. A fantastic semifinal.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. Let's move on to our state AA football playoffs. Owen, we'll go back to you. You and I will be on the call for this one. It's going to be just north of here. Minot North, the number 1 seed, the team that's been number 1 throughout the year. But Central Cass, the 3 seeds coming into town. Again, this will be on PSP Plus. Make sure you tune in. They're talking snow. They're talking sleet. But we know this Minot North team, and what do they love to do?
They love to run the football, and although it took a little while to get started last week against Grand Forks Red River, they found success with Christian Dedman. He goes for 100 on the ground last week against the Rough Riders. The big question, though, is who else is going to be able to run the football for the Sentinel squad? Braden Blickery, the quarterback, may be dealing with some injuries as well, as is their previous RB1, Cooper Chick. So if it's just Dedman, how far can Minot North take that running game? Obviously, he can do a lot on his own, but they're still going to need those secondary pieces to factor in. Against a Central Cass team that just keeps building momentum. I mean, last week, a victory in the quarterfinal round, you kind of solidify yourself as one of the top teams in AA in their first year here. A lot of people still kind of doubting the Squirrels a little bit, but here they come to Minot North. A weird feeling about this one for the Sentinels, knowing the struggles they had all kind of across the board against Red River before that fourth quarter. How do you rebound here against a Central Cass team that's really hungry and looking for a big upset on the road?
Our other state semifinal game is a very interesting one. The number 1 seed, Kindred, they're going to be taking on Devil's Lake. We've had Devil's Lake on PSP before. They've got a very, very good senior athlete named Mason Palmer. His brother, Max Palmer, we call him Palmer Squared here on PSP.
You love him.
I love him. I like Devil's Lake.
He loves them.
I love him. But Kindred, Owen, they just seem like the team nobody can get control of or take control of.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with those question marks Minot North kind of put up in last week's quarterfinal, Kindred kind of looks like the team to beat right now in AA football. Who's going to get by them? I know, Bryce, you like hearing that, but Kindred also has had to face their round of injuries here in the postseason as well. Talking about the offensive weapons for Devil's Lake, I'd like to throw another name out there, Briar Exner. He has had some big-time performances here in the second half of the season. 136 on the ground last week in their win over Grand Forks Central. So it's not just the Palmers for Devils Lake's offense. Kindred has a lot on their hands, but yeah, the Vikings, I mean, across the board, execution-wise, at doing your job, nobody's better at it than the Kindred Vikings.
Ryder Exner also has the greatest cleats in the state. He's got the Grinch Kobe's. You got to respect that game. Good notes there, OP. Let's take a look at our AAA action because there's a lot of different pieces with this as well. You've got the number 1 seed Bismarck Century. They're going to play host to Bismarck Legacy. So the Battle of Bismarck here, BG. How do you see that playing out?
Well, how about Legacy? Congrats to Legacy, first playoff victory in the history there. Congrats to them. I was wrong on my prediction on a shootout. They were about halfway there each team, but what a great game. Couple things that stood out versus Horace. They shut out a Horace team in the first half. That hasn't been. I mean, Horace has been so good offensively. That really stood out. And the use of Jama. I mean, he was the workhorse this week. They only threw the football 11 times. They only had to throw the football 11 times. Jama had 31 carries. I mean, so they really rolled the run game in there, and 124 yards and a touchdown for Jama. You throw in Jolson. Still efficient, though. They throw the football 11 times. He's got 4 for 57 and a touchdown. So very impressive. On the other end, Century team was very battle-tested versus West Fargo Cheyenne. That game was 7-7 at the half. Cheyenne on the road was hanging tough there. And then the Century defense. They come to life the second half. They hold Cheyenne scoreless. Noah Herr was terrific, especially in the run game. This guy, we haven't talked about. I'm going to give this guy some love. I watched him a lot when we were down in Bismarck doing a Century game. Darian Bitts is a grown man.
Yeah.
He is on that defensive line. He had a sack. We need to talk about Darian Bitts more.
Let's talk
this
about
guy is what he brings to the defensive line. That's perhaps maybe the best defensive line in the state. No disrespect to anybody. They were terrific. And Herr was just efficient in that game. They didn't have to really go vertical in that game in the passing attack. He only had, I believe, under 50 yards passing, but he used 10 of 12. He's not making the mistakes, which is very important for Century.
Yeah, and that game will be on PSP Plus as well. Make sure you tune in. Todd Domrey's, who's always fun to listen to, shuffled the puppies. One of my favorite things. Our other semifinal matchup will be the number 1 out of the East, Fargo Davies. They're going to be facing the number 2 seed out of the West, Bismarck High. Coach Gibson has really done a nice job with his Demon team. Will it be enough to take over the 1 spot out of the East?
Perhaps the game of the week. I'm really looking forward to this. Last week, Deegan Staudinger was terrific in the run game. Just 1 yard short of 200 in that one. He was terrific, 199 yards. A guy I've highlighted a lot, it's Hayden Bonley. Once again, he's not making mistakes. Didn't have to throw it a lot, kind of like Century. Didn't have to throw it a lot. They really relied on the run game. He was really good in that ball game. They won the turnover battle. They won the turnover battle in that game last week. That was huge over West Fargo. Basically decided the football game. On the other side, it's Davies. It's the running game. They started quick. They were up 13-0 after 1 on Mandan. Had it to 21-0 at the half. 353 rushing yards. Let's break this down. Colton Tesh had 158. Mathiasen had 75. Ryland Fisher, 59. All these guys, double-digit carries. How do you slow down the rushing attack? That is Fargo Davies. That is going to be the number 1 question in this ballgame for the Bismarck Demons.
Well, we're going to answer all these questions and more when we take a break. When we come back, we're going to have our predictions and more. And don't forget, folks, check out psp.network, and you can select all the games to purchase and help us keep doing our playoff things. Thank you. We'll see you in a minute.
Since 2003, the architects and engineers at Ackerman Esvold have been enhancing everyday life. From response times to commute times, we've helped create critical infrastructure, enhancing highway safety, flood protection, and public education. And we're no stranger to enhancing fun, family outings, and even game time. Ackerman Esvold, working to enhance your everyday life.
We started with small beginnings. And just like the visionary entrepreneurs we serve, we turned an idea into reality. Today, we give you the power to grow your ideas, building meaningful relationships in the communities we serve. Because it's the same place we started. BNC National Bank, where possibilities begin right here at home.
Back to PSP Primetime. This is presented by Ackerman Esvold Construction Management. My name is Dalyss Hanson, Bryce Gutknecht, Owen Patterson. Let's get into our picks. Okay, 9-man, we got number 1, New Rockford Cheyenne Maddock hosting the 5-seed Hankinson. Who are we picking?
Well, I think New Rockford Cheyenne Maddox just too big of favorites right now. I don't see what really anybody can do to stop them unless you force turnovers. I mean, unless you start intercepting some of these passes they're throwing, Hankinson is going to give them a great look. Hankinson is going to give them a run early on. I'm not sure how you can bet against this Rockets team. They've won over 20 consecutive, and they've not been close. I think the Rockets keep on rolling.
Give me the rematch from the Dakota Bowl. I'm going Lobos. I'm going Rockets. I want round 2. I want to see it next weekend in the Dakota Bowl. I like both teams a lot.
Yeah, New Rockford, they're kind of like playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers. I mean, each game they play, it's like a score from my Madden games. Very, very wild, high scoring. And I'm going to take, this is a little bit of a shocker. I think Cinderella keeps dancing. Give me South Border in the championship as well. But I like that back-to-back pick as the big one here. All right, Bryce, back to you. Single A, who we taking in that number 1 versus number 4 Langdon area Munich versus Velva DAG?
I'm sticking with what I picked when we did a show a couple weeks ago. I think the weather is a big factor.
Yeah.
I don't want to look too into it, but I do think if this game was on turf and the weather was a little different, I may lean a little towards Langdon. I'm going to stick with Velva DAG. I think it's a great game. I think it's one of the games we're going to be talking about. Give me the run game with Velva. I'll take Velva. And the other one, I think it might be a coin flip. I've been on Botno kind of making a run here. Another long road trip. Just the emotions that they had with last week. And Killdeer kind of on this mission here. And they've been terrific, especially defensively, like I said. I'm going to go with Botno in a 1-point game. Give me the Braves.
Ooh, OP, who do we like in these two?
I'm going to play the Kirk Herbstreit card for the semifinal. Going to be calling that one. Honestly, I don't even know where to go. I'm hoping it's just tied at the end of regulation, and we get to have an overtime shootout for a spot in the championship game. Langdon area Munich, obviously, they have the continuity of the offense from a year ago. They have the pressure of, hey, winning a semifinal matchup that you lost to this very team a season ago as well. Velva, Drake, Animus, Garrison. Obviously, you talk about the seeding a little bit going back a couple of weeks. That loss to Harvey Wells County, what kind of limited them, what kind of has sprung this new look, new energy Velva team is having that number 4 seed. They've wanted to be tested on the road. I think Velva, obviously, they get what they want here in a road trip to Langdon. Great game. I'll save the pick for when it's over. Second semifinal, Killdeer and Botno, 2 pass-heavy teams. Again, the weather going to play a factor there. I'm going with the best defense. It's the Killdeer Cowboys. Obviously, Botno had a really tough test against Ellendale Edgley Cullum's running game. Gave up 35 points in 3 quarters there to the Thunder. Did pitch the shutout to complete the comeback, but I'm more confident in Killdeer's defense to make the stops at home. Give me Killdeer versus somebody in the Fargo Dome next week.
Yeah, this is a tough one for me to pick as well. After watching Kittleson last week and some of the pieces that Coach Weidler has, I got to roll with Velva DAG. No offense to my Langdon folks and my Langdon fans. Correct. It's tough to pick against a team that knows how to win this time of year, which Velva DAG does. Now this game, Killdeer versus Botno, very, very interesting. Botno Braves, all this momentum. They built a brand new football field. They really do feel like they can win a state championship, all these different things. But 2 things happen in the month of November. Okay. The snow will fly, and Coach Walker will win the state championship for the Killdeer Cowboys. You heard it here first. I'm rolling with Killdeer. Give me the boys from Killdeer here. The mountains over there, they're very special, the Killdeer Mountains.
You have been on
Mystical.
Killdeer.
I have been on Killdeer. I'm a
them.
big Coach Walker fan. I like Botno. I love watching Botno play, but just something about those mountains in the mystic Killdeer area. All right, Opie, let's talk about our AA picks now. Minot North Central Cass, how are we feeling?
Really, really close one here as well. Obviously, the difficult thing for Central Cass is the long road trip up to Minot, a team they've never played before. Kind of odds stacked against the Central Cass team to go on the road. But hey, they've been able to play some clean football over the past couple of weeks. They got by in that quarterfinal game against St. Mary's. It wasn't an easy one at all. They picked up a win over a Saints team. And then you've got Minot North, who I don't know if they're really playing their best football right now in the month of November. They're going to really have to step it up, especially on the defensive side. They let Red River run a little wild there early in the game, had a tough time containing their quarterback on the ground. And maybe Central Cass comes in here and ruffles some feathers early on. Who knows what the Squirrels have in store? Maybe it's an upset. However, I'm going to stick with my pick, sink or swim with it since the month of August. I'm going Minot North real close, real close.
How about Kindred Devils Lake?
Kindred and Devils Lake. I mean, Kindred right now, it's hard to imagine them kind of stumbling at all in a game right now. The Vikings look so poised for a state championship game run. But Devils Lake, they've got that kind of mystery to them that I mentioned last week when we previewed this tournament. I think it works out for Devils Lake. I think they really throw something weird at Kindred. Obviously, the injury problems there for the Vikings. Again, I think the underdog on the road really makes it interesting in this AA round, but I'm sticking with the favorites still. Minot North and Kindred, they barely get by, but it's that collision course to undefeated in Fargo.
BG, Minot North, Central Cass, how we feeling, my friend?
I think it probably, across every level, we're going to have some great games. I think AA, I think, are going to be the closest. Mm-hmm. I do. I think they're games that could go either way. I think the depth of Minot North comes into play here. I really do. I think, that especially in the run game, we talked about some injuries. There's a little concern there, kind of how they played last week. But they've been a team that's been terrific in the first half. And then last week, it was 6-6 at half, I think, if I remember right. And they were great in that second half. I think it's some of the unsung heroes that come into play here, like Evan Berg. Yeah. Look at Evan Berg this week. Guy like Braxton Thompson. I'm looking at those guys. I'll take North by 3. Very close. I like Cass a lot. I like they're really playing well of late, but North's in that semi. Anything they got to do to try and get to the Dakota Bowl. Their eyes on the prize. I like North in a close one. The other one, I've been on Kindred. I am concerned about them losing Starcevic. I am. I think what he does, I think they can withstand it from an offensive standpoint. I think the defensive side, they're going to feel it. I do. But I'm going to take Coach Bergad making adjustments. They're going to come out on top. I think it's going to be another kind of 3 to 6 point game, though. I really do. I think Devils Lake with Palmer can come in there and put some points up. Give me Kindred.
Yeah, these are two great games. I mean, no matter which way you cut this pie, it's going to be a lot of fun this weekend. But I will say, the Central Cass Squirrels are going to fall out of the tree because the Minot North Sentinels are shaking it. Give me the Sentinels. I know what Owen said is very correct. They're not playing their best football right now, but there's something about Coach Holman can rally the troops, give Blickery a little time there to get back to 100%. I am worried about Cooper Chick. Really like watching this kid play football. If he can't play, who's going to step up? Will we see a Hannon? Will we see Deadman again? There's a lot of moving pieces, but I'm taking Minot North. This game has kept me up all night. Kindred and Devils Lake. I really like Devils Lake.
You do.
But I know Starkovic not playing is huge, but there's something in the water at Kindred that just lets them drink all these state championships Kool-Aid, and I'm going to take a glass of that Kool-Aid as well. Give me Kindred over Devils Lake. That kills me to say that, but I still got to roll with them.
They're really going to college game day us here.
I know.
I know.
All right, let's go to AAA here. Bismarck Century, Bismarck Legacy, OP. What are we thinking?
I've been liking this Century team for the last couple weeks. I think they're a really strong unit. The defensive line, I agree with you, best there is. But there's something about this Legacy team that just kind of feels like something's changing in that program. First playoff win last week, having to go on the road, avenge a regular season loss to Horace, got it done. Yusuf Jama is running mad in the backfield right now. And I think that offensive line withstands what Century's pressure can do. Don't forget, Legacy pass defense, also really solid. If they can force some turnovers from Noah Herr early in the game, a guy that doesn't throw a lot, can really knock Century's confidence. I'm taking the Sabres. It's not even a road trip at all. It's a game in Bismarck. The road trip's not a problem. I'm taking Legacy to beat Century.
How about Fargo Davies, Bismarck High?
This one's really a point of emphasis on Fargo Davies to finish it. I think they are big favorites in this game. The Eagles, what I said last week as well, they've been driven by that state championship loss from a year ago against West Fargo Cheyenne. It's on them on Friday to prove it. I think they've got, obviously, the home field advantage there. They've got the ideal conditions to run that offense in and just wear Bismarck High's defense down. I'm taking the Eagles and Sabres to match up in the state championship game. A great rematch from a regular season game earlier.
Very good, OP. Very good. Mr. Gutknecht, Bismarck Century, Bismarck Legacy. Ooh.
I know. First off, I'm going to predict overtime. I'm taking overtime in the ball game. I'm doing that. I'm doing it. I think we're in store for a great one. I'm going to give Century the slight edge because of the guy I talked about, Mr. Bitts, is going to make one big play defensively for this team. I love the Sabres. I do. I love Jama. I love what Jolson brings to the table. Last time these two matched up, he houses one 100-yard kickoff. He was great. Had over 100 yards, 200 all-purpose yards. He was terrific. I'm gonna give the slight edge to Century though because of the defense, the defensive line. Noah Hurd takes care of the football. Give me Century in overtime.
How about Davies versus Demons? Who we like?
I love Coach Wermeyer. I do. We did this show. I picked Bismarck. I did. I picked Bismarck. I preliminary before the playoffs started. I'm going to stick with it. I think Bonley and Staudinger are going to do enough on the road, but they're going to have to get off the field on third down. They're going to have to. You're not going to stop this rushing attack, obviously, but limiting that, Davies is going to have to close out drives. It's going to be another. All these games, we're going to have a lot of close games this week. I'll take Bismarck in a very close one on the road. Give me Century versus Bismarck in the Dakota Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, this first one is going to be phenomenal. Must-see TV right here on PSP Plus, by the way. I'm praying that Bismarck Legacy makes it to the Dakota Bowl because I think that last name, Jama, is going to be all over the Fargo Dome. But I think Bismarck Century has that great defense, offensively so well put together. I got to pick the Patriots. Just Century, this high school just breeds champions. It doesn't matter what sport. And I think they do it again in football. They get to the Dakota Bowl. As much as I love Jama, he's one of my guys. That's so hard to do. And I like the Sabres, what they've done with this young pro. Weigel is a very good basketball player as well, but I got to take Century. As for the other one, Fargo Davies and Bismarck High, I mean, the Demons, Coach Gibson, he's going to be saying this after the game. He's going to say, give it up for my boys up front because the offensive line for the Demons is going to literally propel them into the Dakota Bowl. So I will take Bismarck High. Thank you, everybody. Again, my name is Dalyss Hanson, Bryce Gutknecht, Owen Patterson. Please join us this Friday night. We'll have 2 games. Go there tonight, tomorrow, Friday morning, Friday evening. Tell your friends and family. I'm not kidding you. This coverage is top-notch ESPN style right here on PSP. All you have to do is go to psp.network, click the select button. If you have any trouble, there is a support line on the website as well. But please make sure you treat these student athletes like we treat them. We want to put them on a pedestal and make sure they can showcase their talents here. And again, we appreciate you. Can't wait to do this again, boys. Last thoughts, Owen, here on how good playoffs are going to be semifinal?
Well, from our picks segment right there's going to be some fantastic games across the state. It's kind of our going out party for the fall sports season on the PSP Network. I think we got the 3 best games to bring you on PSP Plus this weekend.
BG, last comments?
I'm just ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to see all these quarterbacks, especially single A, the quarterback landscape in single A across the semifinals, and then the triple A. It's so hard to pick these. I didn't want to do it. I don't want to do it. It's just the talent across the state of North Dakota is just top notch. We're in store for another great weekend of playoff football.
Yeah, we appreciate you at home as well. For myself, my 2 partners today, Bryce Gutknecht and Owen Patterson, we bid you a good night and good luck to the teams in the semifinal football.